Hey, party people. Let's talk about a question I get a lot. Actually, an entire category of questions I get concerning drawing and illustrating for fashion designers. While I talk, I'm going to be finishing this pet project I started back in August of 2017. All the steps are in videos, and those videos are in a playlist called How to Illustrate a Multi-Figure Composition. This video is the last of it. I am wrapping it up in this video. This project, it's not really about design, it's about illustration. I basically sketched out all the designs during one really long flight. If you want to paint your own, I do have a template in my Etsy store. It has the fashion figures laid out on a runway finale walking composition just like this one, but without the clothes or faces or hair, just the figures composed. I'll post a link to it below. So on to the questions. First question, do fashion designers need to learn how to draw? Yes. Drawing by hand for designers is simply fast communication. And that's why I call the kind of illustration I do and teach design communication. It's a style that explicitly shows the design. And the more you work with people who don't speak the same language as you, the more important it is for you to be able to sketch out your ideas quickly and clearly. Design communication is not vague, loose, pretty, random crap, but sketches where, hey, here's a button-down shirt with an asymmetrical hem and a narrow collar and 2 chest pockets. Specific sketching. And I mean, if you're looking at what I'm painting right now, even though these aren't really like design sketches, this is just like a fun fashion illustration project for me. Like the way I sketch as a designer is so ingrained in me. Like you can see the clothes and you see so much detail that you can figure out how to construct these things just based off this illustration. You know, I have the corset and the bone channels and how it's laced, the busk is in the front, you know, like there's a certain clarity to the way I draw so that you can figure out the design. And that's the kind of drawing designers need to learn. Clarity of design. Specific sketching. Sketching is faster than draping, and it's faster than sewing, and it crosses language barriers. Sketching is a valuable tool. Second question, do you need to be the best sketcher ever? Listen, the better the sketches, the better you're at communicating your concepts without words. But do these sketches need to be absolutely amazing? No. Can they be so basic they look like first draft flats? Yes, as long as the design shown is accurate. Okay, so do we have to be master illustrators who are brilliant at watercolors? To be a designer? No. More on that later. But Zoe, I heard Cristobal Balenciaga never sketched a day in his life. You know, I have nothing but respect and love for Cristobal Balenciaga, but he started his career almost 100 years ago. Literally. I think he opened his first store in 1919. The entire fashion industry was so completely different back then. The needed skills were different. The paths to success were different, like 180 degrees different. And I'm not saying he couldn't be a successful designer in 2018. I'm saying it's pointless to prepare for your future by referring to events 100 years in the past. Our industry moves and changes so fast that the way designers got started even 20 years ago would probably not apply now. And yeah, there are always exceptions to the rules, so don't bother mentioning that one guy you know. I don't care about that one guy you know. I'm talking about what is the case for the majority of working designers today. Next question. Okay, Zoe, I get it. I have to learn how to draw. Do I need to learn how to paint? Not really. You have to learn how to draw, but you don't have to be a great illustrator. I love to paint and I love fashion illustration in general, so I've practiced a lot and it's provided me some really nice freelance opportunities over the years, but it's not necessary not to be a designer. Don't forget, it's totally okay to do something simply because it makes you happy. And drawing and painting make me happy. Next question. Zoe, then why do fashion schools teach so much illustration? I get this one a lot. Some schools teach more than others, but for schools with good intentions, I believe the reasoning is this. There are skills you learn in school that are the most useful in the job hunt itself. There are things that you learn just to get the job. My old department chair at Otis used to say, beautiful illustrations start conversations. People just pay more attention to design when the illustration is beautiful. 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time. It is what it is. It's like reading a great essay where the grammar is great, the words flow, there's a rhythm to the syntax, and that makes the concepts easier to understand. You're more willing to read it or listen to it. It's why we pick beautiful models to wear our clothes. People look at your work, and if they're instantly seduced by your illustrations, then they keep looking. And the goal is to get them to keep looking long enough to hire you. Next question. What if I suck at drawing? I know, right? Does that mean I have to give up on being a designer? No. You should probably give up on designing if you suck at designing, but, secondary skills like drawing, you have a few options. 1, take classes, watch all my videos, get a private tutor, practice until your fingers are numb little stumps. If you saw my latest Throwback Thursday sketch that I posted on Instagram, you know I am a living proof of how much people can improve through practice. I posted this sketch, and it's from 1997, which is high school for me, and someone actually was like, oh, I see why you're always talking about practicing, Zoe. All right, number 2, you can distract people with other ways to show your design. If you watch my portfolio series, then you know how much I'm talking about, making beautiful mood boards that make sense, creating really interesting, gorgeous color stories, fabric stories, and making sure that you're designing really interesting, forward-thinking designs and creating 3D samples out of the fabric to show how you would construct such things. Number 3, try illustrating figures on the computer, whether it's Adobe Illustrator or apps like Procreate. Which brings us to the next question. Zoe, do designers have to learn how to draw on the computer? Yes. Yes. Yes to this more than anything. Flats are everything in design. You will spend more time drawing flats than anything else in the actual design process of things in the industry. Well-done flats can actually be quite the thing of beauty. Again, it's about communicating the design explicitly, clearly, accurately. You have to learn Illustrator. I know there is a bunch of you out there. Even as I speak, you're throwing a temper tantrum in your mind because you don't want to learn it. I used to be one of those people. Okay, go learn Illustrator. Go make flats, beautiful flats. Make sure your flats are created with the pen tool making enclosed shapes, not a bunch of random lines, so you can fill in your flats with color and patterns. Listen to me very carefully. If you take only one thing away from this video, let that one thing be this: learn how to draw flats in Illustrator. Speaking of different kinds of drawing and illustration, another question I get a lot is, what media do you recommend designers learn? Number 1, markers, for sure. You can work fast, and speed is everything in this industry. There will be times where you're sketching on the job, but it's very rare that you will be finishing these sketches to color. It's mainly in the process you're sketching out some rough designs, and then you just move on to making flats on the computer. If you ever do hand illustrations on the job, again, which is rare, chances are you will use something super fast like marker to get it done super fast. Number 2, watercolors. Maybe. If you're really into giving some wow factor in your portfolio or pursuing some illustration work like I did, yeah, learn watercolor. I have also done like watercolor illustrations for mood boards, for presentations, for fashion forecasting freelance projects, that sort of thing. So if you are interested in like these kind of like a little bit beyond design projects like this, go ahead and do learn watercolor. I mean, if you like it, you can just do it. But the thing is, you can do really beautiful full-blown illustrations in marker too. I've done it all the time. So watercolors truly are optional. And by watercolor, I'm including, all kinds, traditional watercolor, watercolor pencil, gouache, inks, liquid watercolor. I'm including all of that in this category. Number 3, color pencil as the main medium. No, it's too slow. You're gonna either work really fast and it's grainy and sketchy, or ain't nobody got time for all that blending. Color pencil is purely a detail and texture tool like fine liners and gel pens. Speaking of fine liners, people often ask me why I don't use fine liners to outline my figures. It's not an industry standard thing, I just don't like it. It's just my personal preference. I prefer something a little bit softer, a little bit less graphic, and capable of more fluid line quality like pencil or color pencil. Fine liner, I think, is really great for comic book work and for things that more closely resemble that kind of artwork. Also inappropriate and unnecessary for designers are oils, acrylics, oil pastels, chalk pastels, or soft pastels. I do some large-scale figure drawing work with some soft pastels, some charcoal, stuff like that, and that's great for practice, but you don't want to do your illustrations for your portfolio with something that messy, something that large scale. Again, there's nothing wrong with just learning things because you enjoy things, but as fashion designers for fashion design work, those materials are not necessary to learn. If you want more information on different media, go check out my different media materials playlist, especially my art supplies for fashion designers video. If you want tutorials on how to render all these textures I rendered, I have a playlist called Illustrating Specific Fabrics and Textures, and I have videos on beading, pearls, sequins, shiny fabrics, all kinds of stuff. I have a faces playlist that I called Faces. And that includes a skin tones video. So if you're interested in what I use to mix up all these different skin tones, that information is in that video. And I recently did a video called, Fashion illustration tutorial, opaque gouache. So whenever I do super dark skin tones, I do use a more opaque gouache, and I go over opaque gouache tips in that video. I also have a hair playlist called Hair. I know, these difficult titles, right? So I have a hair playlist, so if you want to learn how to render hair, I have hair videos kind of broken up into different styles, like I have a basic hair video, I have a straight hair video, a curly hair video, etc. So go check all those out. I'll drop links to everything in the description box below, but go ahead and just check out my playlist tab. I do have all my videos organized by subject. Check those out. Have a blast. Learn some stuff. Paint some stuff. Have a good time. All those good things. And please give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new today, and share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button. I still get emails from people saying, Zoe, I'm not seeing all your videos in my subscription feed. What's up with that? And the only solution that I've heard about is for you to hit the gray notification bell next to the subscribe button. And that should be able to get you all the notifications. So this is what I'm hearing as the best solution for that if you're not seeing all my videos. I post every Sunday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. So if that doesn't work, just keep in mind that's when I'm always posting a new video. So come to my channel every Sunday. And remember, it's okay to do things purely because it's fun. And I'll see you in the next video.